I think Rajiv, you may start now.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Vinod to actually.
Can't hear you, Rajiv.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I was just waiting for Vinod to ask me to kickstart the session. We have a very special speaker, Shiv Shenoy. I'll not take the thunder away from him by introducing what he does. The topic in front of us is really self-explanatory. I'll let him do his own introduction, but I wanted to share a small anecdote of how I came across Shiv. Right, we haven't ever physically met till now, but we really support each other on LinkedIn. We found each other on LinkedIn actually, right? And Shiv reached out to me into my direct messages, and we used to engage a lot with one of the largest creators on LinkedIn called Justin Welch. Shiv also likes him, and I also like him very well, right? And very nice way of putting things very simply, from Justin Welch's perspective. And when we started engaging on Justin Welch, that's when Shiv and I sort of met, and we came to know about each other's strengths, what we do for a living, and that's how this session actually has taken fruit. So without further ado, I'll hand over the mic to Shiv and let him introduce himself quickly and take you through this session.
Okay, thank you, Rajiv. It's awesome to be here in front of you to share what I've been learning in the past decade. So today, as you know, the topic is going from leader to thought leader. That is by leveraging your expertise, experience, and knowledge as an authority book. So I'll take quickly a couple of minutes to tell about myself. I've done my engineering in mid-90s and then towards late 90s, and then joined IT company as a trainee. And for 15 years, I worked with startups, primarily building their technical solutions, building their IP. And our startup was acquired by a bigger company in 2011. And within a year from there, sort of burnt out. And I was hospitalized for a couple of weeks, during which time I got really time, from 18 hours a day to suddenly all time for myself, and started thinking what I've been doing. More importantly, with 2 little kids growing up, not being there for them. How would it happen if the same thing continued? So with that realization, in a year from there, I quit a very plush, well-paying job to start on my own. And as any project manager would do, I did a SWOT analysis, identified my top 3 strengths that I can create value in and build a business around. And taking some lessons from my management education, did some market research, marketing, etc., and figured out that I can do something in a niche in project management. And then sub-niche down into education, and further sub-niche down into a very specific certification exam called PMP. And I thought I'll help project managers pass this exam. So my love for writing came into play. For about 8 to 9 months, I converted all my PMP notes, study strategies, tools, techniques, etc., in terms of a blog. And the blog became only source on the internet where end-to-end information was available for free for PMP. But still not much of a monetization, right? So I was really struggling for the first year, as it would happen with any entrepreneur or any business, and trying to figure out how can I get the right people to come to my blog. And somebody suggested a book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. He said, maybe that book will help you give some direction for your business venture. And during the course of looking out for that book, I realized that Amazon is such a potent platform where probably for every business out there, you will find people on this on this platform. So I thought, let me write a book, and then maybe through that I can get some traffic to my blog. And I was doing an affiliate marketing, recommending one of the products that I had used for my own exam, PMP exam study, hoping that people will buy that, and some monetization will happen. Although I was not able to get anybody to hire me as a coach. And next 6-7 months went into understanding how to convert knowledge into a book format, the intricacies of publishing, all of that. And surprisingly, the book became a bestseller in all the 3 categories for several weeks at a go. And I did get a lot of traffic, but from surprise, I was shocked when people started reaching out saying, can you coach me? I'll pay you. So I didn't realize all this while I was running after people, and just the book got published. Nothing changed from my perspective. Same person, same capabilities, same, everything same. And now suddenly people are coming to me. Didn't think much of it. Just started coaching people. It was going very well. Organically wrote more books, overall 21 of them. And as coaching couldn't be scaled, started creating courses. So proper business was set, right? And then COVID happened, and many people got laid off. People also tried to leverage their knowledge to do something online. So I decided, let me help people. Let me share what I've been doing for the last 6-7 years. So I started writing every day on LinkedIn, straight every day for 650 days plus days, sharing what I've been doing, how I've been doing. And then all these words like solopreneurship, creator economy, all those were the buzzwords which are coming up there. And then people realized, okay, what we are trying to do, this guy has been doing since 2013. So they asked me, how did you do this? So I told them, I wrote a book, and people looked at me as authority, and then that set the whole chain of events. So they said, can you help me write my book? So I offered a cohort, and quite a number of people joined. A few people published their book. They became bestsellers on the day of launch. Some more are in the pipeline in the next few weeks and months to publish theirs. So I sort of became an niche authority coach. So I also now work with influencers or coaches to set up and grow their business through LinkedIn as a growth platform. So this is, I wanted to keep it short. Sorry, it went a little longer. So this is my introduction. And before we get into today's session, I want to ask a few questions so that I understand your expectations from this session, and then I'll tell you my promise as well from the session. So if you can please answer these few questions with like one letter, one word, or one sentence, short sentence in the chat. I just want to know a few things. One is, I know there are a few people who have written already their book and published. Have you been thinking or wishing or planning or actually currently writing your book? You can just say yes or no. So I get a sense of, okay, wishing, not as of now. Okay, not decided. So now I want to know, why do you want to write a book? If you have been thinking of writing the book, why do you want to write a book? Is it to build your personal brand? Whatever that you have in mind, if you have any specific goal in mind. Okay, personal branding. Okay, and this is a very interesting question. I have a reason to ask you this, and I'll come back to this in a bit. Why? How many pages do you think a book should have? Share the experience. Great. Okay, 250. Unlimited. Okay. 150. More than 50, 100 to 200. Okay, great answers. There is no right or wrong answer. I just want to know, what do you think? 40, 200, 500. Okay, excellent. And how long do you think it usually takes to write a book? In terms of weeks, months, years, hopefully not years, but okay, 1 year, 3 to 6 months, 3 months. Okay. All right. And some of you have been thinking, right? Some of you do not have a clue. But then if you are to write one, what do you think will be your top challenge? For some, it could be time or anything, right? If you think there will be a challenge, what would be that? Okay, cool. And this is the last question. What's your expectation from this session? I'll tell you what promise I have in mind, but storyboarding, organizing, publishing. Okay. Perfect. Great. Okay. All right. So this is my promise from this session. I'll show you how you can convert your expertise, knowledge, experience into a book that will position you as the go-to authority in your field. And I'll also share a 12-step system that you can use to do this in 12 weeks. How to make my book more popular and reach more prospects, enable us to become thought leaders. Wonderful, amazing. Okay. One quick note. There is no need to take notes. I'll be sharing a PDF of whatever that we discuss here at the end of this session. You can download it straight away. And any question you have, please keep asking in the chat. And then towards the end, we will go through and answer as many as I can. And if I can't answer anything, then I'll come back to you probably through Rajiv with the answers over the weekend. So let's get started then. So first question, in the very first slide, we mentioned authority book, and I kept repeating it a couple of times. What is an authority book? Let's try and understand this first, because there are so many books. When we say someone is an author, they could be writing a novel, a poem book, coffee table book, or so many different, like children's book, memoir, history book, any of that. So let's try and understand what is an authority book. So we are primarily talking about a nonfiction book, right? Not a fiction, but a nonfiction book. And it comes from your knowledge and your expertise, your experience. So it is, in a way, it represents you. And a book solves a specific problem for a specific audience. Most of us have multiple talents, multiple expertise. We can solve multiple problems, right? Of course, that's why you are at the helm of your respective organizations. But when it comes to a book, it has to solve one specific problem for a specific audience. So specificity gives you authority. So that's the underlying principle. And it helps you position yourself as an authority in your field, right? So it can be a technology book, it can be a business book, it can be a self-help book, even a memoir. One of my clients who published his book is a memoir. Basically, it's his life lessons. He comes from a tier 2 city, and his target audience is people, youth, basically, from tier 2 city who are coming to bigger cities, joining job, trying to climb the corporate ladder, having issues with language, people, culture, all of that. So through his life journey that he has been able to solve, the solutions he has tried, he is giving them away as his memoir. So memoir is also a way to write your authoritative book, right? Let's see what's a thought leadership. I'm sure all of us know here, but just for the concept, for the context. Thought leadership is a concept where an individual or an organization is recognized as the authority in a specific field, leading to them being sought after for their expertise and insights. So that's typically what we say about thought leadership. And the fact is that a book is the fastest way you can demonstrate your authority. There are several ways you can build your authority. You can have a podcast, you can be a speaker, you can write on social media or your blog, all of that. But the fastest way that I've seen is by writing a book, because the word author is there in authority. So somebody who has written a book on something is, in our social consciousness, they are looked upon as an authority. So that's the fastest way to build your authority, to write a book, right? And over the last 7-8 years, I've spoken to several people, and I have noticed few myths which unnecessarily stop people from their ability to write a book. Their books are there, that knowledge is needed by so many people, but these myths stop them from taking action. So let's quickly run through that and burst some of the myths. The first one is, I need to be a good writer to write a book. Let me know if you think this is the case, if you believe this, right? The fact is not at all, right? An authority book is sharing your perspective, your insights. So your lessons, your insights, or your way of getting a specific reason, a result, matters more than perfect writing. Plus, compared to novel, where a flowery language is the essence of writing, for an authority book, it has to be conversational. It has to be simple conversational English. That's why that's why writing an authority book is much easier in terms of the actual process of writing, because you are having a conversation with your reader through your book without your presence. That's what the book is, right? So if you can talk about a topic of your expertise for 30 to 45 minutes, that's a book essentially. So you don't need to be an author, or you don't need to be a, like they say, great writer to be an author. So that's a myth that we need to get rid of. The second thing is, it takes about 8 to 12 months to write a book, or 6 to 12 months. Different people have, some people have, even believe that it takes more than a year or years. But it's not really the case. What matters is if you can get into a habit of spending even like 30 minutes a day, right? 30 to 60 minutes, you can write in 6 to 8 weeks very easily. It's not difficult at all. And then there'll be a little bit of time required for, converting it in a way that the publisher, in this case, Amazon, wants. So, and then we'll put some buffer, and 10 to 12 weeks is pretty more than enough. So someone said 3 months earlier when I asked how long do you think or do you believe it takes to write a book? You're pretty much on target there. So the next myth is, a book has to have 200, 250, 300, right? So many number of pages. That's how we've been conditioned, because that's how we've been looking at books all this while. But the fact is that because this is about getting a result, it's about educating somebody or sharing our knowledge towards getting a specific result. The more concise it is, the faster reader will be able to read, understand, implement, and get results. So the bottom line is, number of pages does not matter at all. In fact, most of the nonfiction books tend to be on the lesser number of pages side. And more concise it is, better it is for them to complete the book, completely read the book. I have tons of books which I have started, gone through several pages, as the matter gets diluted, it just goes back to the shelf and then never to be picked up. So it's not the case. The number of pages is not the case. In fact, Amazon has a specific category for short books, and it provides #1 best-selling tags for shorter categories as well. So that can be, in a way, an advantage when the book is concise and engaging. So bottom line, page count does not matter. Next, I don't have enough time. This is a most common thing, and it is valid. But the fact is, if you can make writing a priority, like I said, even 30 minutes a day, right? Scheduling that time and having those 30 minutes with zero distraction, because more focused we are on a task, the time expands, they say. You get to do more in that particular slot. So every minute counts. So if you can have a routine and just stick with it, progress happens, which is the most important part. And of course, there are tools and systems and support that to make it faster, but time isn't really a factor at all. All right, so let's quickly look at, please keep your questions flowing. I see there are a few questions. I'm very happy. I'm eager to look at them and pick them up. Please keep them flowing. So let's quickly look at some of the benefits of being a published author. There are many, but here are a few which I think make sense from your perspective for your business, right? So first one is very obvious. Your book establishes you as the authority. It positions you as an industry expert because it can attract media attention, interviews, etc. It can open doors for high-profile collaborations. So that's the topmost, I would say, benefit of being a published author. Second thing is it expands your reach. See, Amazon is the world's biggest platform for publishing books. And most number of people of the population are on Amazon almost on a daily basis, right? So it goes to wherever Amazon has presence in the world, more than 15 countries, right? And which means your ideas get far and wide. And because most of the topics are universal, you will have readers globally. And that boosts your online presence as well as search engine optimization, right? People, when Google with your name or Google your name, although there are possibly many people with the same first name, last name combination, chances are you will come up further. And that's more important from a business perspective, right? You can reach more of your prospects. The third benefit is it enhances your personal brand, right? Somebody wrote about, few people wrote about writing a book for personal branding, which is very important. It highlights your unique expertise more than anything else. And it strengthens your professional image, right? Which is what differentiates you from the competition. And naturally, it builds trust with your audience. And for a business, trust is the most essential component of business relationship, right? So trust establishes, a book establishes credibility and reliability that leads to trust. And it engages and retains a loyal customer base, right? Then it facilitates networking. Of course, your book becomes your business card, essential. And that can connect you with other industry leaders. It can expand your circles, attract potential business partners, all of those benefits that networking provides. And it can also provide a platform for additional products and services based on the industry that you're in. Maybe you can add an educational arm. Can be workshops, seminars, courses, all of that, right? All that possibilities are there. If you are into speaking opportunities, looking for speaking opportunities, a book is probably the biggest asset to get speaking opportunities. And I'm not sure if this point is relevant here, but it generates passive income. It creates an additional, almost passive income stream. You get royalties from 15 plus countries. I mean, monthly, Amazon sends you royalties from all different countries, in their own currencies. So great reach and a passive income stream on the sites. So please ask any questions that you may have. I want to quickly jump into a 12-step system, which I've used over the last 8 years to write all of my books. And my clients have been also using to write theirs. So it's a continuously improving and optimized process. Let's quickly look at each of them. And I want to thank Rajiv once again, because I was trying to get an example so that each of these steps can make sense, so you can relate to it. And Raju basically suggested I look at Biren Shah sir's profile. And I went through his business websites, his services, his software products, etc. And I picked one which is about loyalty program, reward-based loyalty program. And I believe it's for commodity businesses. Like one of the use case there talks about an adhesive company who figured that most of adhesives, different types of adhesives, the buying decision is made by carpenters and not the owners of the houses or the commercial properties that are hiring them. And they came out with a loyalty program for the carpenters, so they can increase the customer lifetime value. A beautiful use case there. So I picked that up and I made some assumptions. So it may be, those assumptions may be wrong, but for the sake of giving an example as we go through these steps, it may help, resonate with you. I hope I have Biren sir's permission to use that.
Thank you for looking me up.
Thank you. Okay,
Please go ahead.
Cool. So the first step is to pinpoint your book's objective. There is a stat that I came across which says that 98% of authors, after they have published their book, they don't know what to do with it. And that happens because they do not start with an objective for the book. So having an objective, although you may know it, but just mulling over it and writing it down is very essential, right? 3 things basically. What's the main goal for your book? What's the main outcome that you want your reader to have? And how do you measure success of this book, right? How does a success look like? These are essential groundwork that we need to do even before we think of writing a book. And this step gives the outcome, which is clarity. Clarity from the book for you, and clarity for you to see what your reader should get from this book. So as an example, if you can see, this software, which is for businesses to implement reward-based customer loyalty program, right? The main goal, if Biren sir is planning to write a book, it would position him as the authority in customer relationship space using loyalty programs, right? The other sub-goal could be to educate his target business owners about the possibility of increasing sales through emotionally engaging loyalty programs. Many people may still be worried that, hey, it's a commodity business and I'm losing my market share. How do I increase lifetime value? They may not know that loyalty program is a solution they can consider. So a little bit of educational part also could be one of the goals for the book. The key outcome could be sharing strategies to implement loyalty programs for increasing business revenue. And of course, the obvious success metrics is increased inquiries and sales for this software. So with that, we come to the next step, which is to understand the ideal reader. Now we know whom I am going to write for. We need to understand them as clearly as we can. Their demographics, their interests, their challenges, dreams, worries, wants, fears, all of that, right? The more we know about our target ideal reader, the more clearly we can write so that it resonates with them. It's almost like reaching out into their head and pulling out the thought. And when they read the book, they think, hey, this is what I've been thinking. So it resonates with them very strongly. That's why the more we know about them, and probably as business owners, you already have that data about your target audience. And that is the outcome, to understand your ideal reader better than they themselves do. That's the outcome for this step. As an example, right, for this, it could be CEOs and marketing leaders of commodity-based businesses. The interest could be they want to increase customer retention, they want to introduce technology in marketing, business growth strategies. The needs could be effective strategies to increase customer loyalty, retention. Of course, the goal is customer lifetime value to be increased, and so the revenue, right? And the third step is to become aware of their biggest problems. Now we know who is that we are writing for, right? What are their problems, issues, strengths, worries, needs? And then what's the biggest problem that I can solve through my expertise? The principle here is the bigger problem you can solve, bigger authority you can become in the field. And it's very easy to understand, right? I mean, a surgeon is looked upon so highly compared to probably a normal doctor, typically, because a surgeon solves a bigger problem. So the problem that we choose to solve, we all know as business people, bigger the problem we solve, bigger is the impact. So in this step, we list all the top challenges our reader faces and prioritize them based on impact and relevance, and then focus on the top problem. And this, as an outcome of this step, gives us the book's topic. So as an example here, could be competition eating into their businesses, reducing profit margins, diminishing customer lifetime value. Very apparent now. Then once we have this, we know which problem we're going to solve. We already know the solution. Now comes, how do we lay it out? Because the way we outline our solution decides how easily it can be done as perceived by the reader, right? So they are at a stage of pain, and we are taking them to a promised land, which is our solution. So we call this P2P path, pain to promised land. And this journey that we want them to take, we break them down into actionable steps and lay it out in an easiest incremental steps towards the solution. Because the idea here is, as they read the book, in their mind, they can see themselves traversing this path, this journey towards the solution. And once they can figure out that, or in their mind, if they can see themselves, implementing and getting there, they believe it is possible for them, and they will want to implement it, right? They'll come to you for solution. So that's the idea. So the clarity of the approach is the outcome of this step. And in this example, again, I've made some assumptions here, but this could be the thing, right? As a business, they want to assess their current customer journey, and they want to define clear objectives for the loyalty program. And then they can develop a framework to implement it, and then do the personalization and segmentation of their target audience to design this loyalty program, and then launch and promote it, measure success and gather feedback, and scale and evolve the program. So these could be 6 or 7 steps to the solution for this particular target audience. So once we have this, one of the tools that we use is mind map. You all probably know what is a mind map. It's a non-linear way of capturing data and information as our mind jumps from one step to other, one area to other, we'll be able to capture it easily. So mind map is a very powerful brainstorming tool as well. So these steps, we get them into a mind map, and I'll tell you why in the next step. And as we do this, we look at the steps, their flow, see if it makes sense for our target audience, and we create it. For this example, this could be the basic high-level mind map. And we can say, we have added introduction at the top, and it goes clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps, and the next steps. Now, introduction, we typically talk about the problem. We follow a framework called PAS, a copywriting framework. We talk about the problem, we agitate it, which means if you don't take action to solve this problem, what will happen, right? And then we present our solution where the resonance is more because the contrast is higher. And then you take them through the steps, and the next steps, you basically next steps is the link between the book and they coming to you to implement that solution. So this is typically how the outline is created. This is the book's outline. And each of these bubbles, right? These are bubbles going out from the center piece. Each of these steps could be a chapter, although it is not a rule, but typically that's how we convert this into a table of content for the book. And you expand on the mind map to identify sections and subsections for each of the chapters as next level bubbles. So it makes it very easy, as you can see here. Again, I've taken some liberty to logically break down each of these steps. You can see, for example, assess current customer journey has, understand your customer base, identify their pain points, benchmark against competitors. Now, each of the step, you can further break them down into sub-steps. You can go further also, multiple levels. This is the beauty of mind map. It helps you to capture everything. So once you have this, you basically have the skeleton of the book ready. Now you just have to fill in these things, right? And that's where we do hustling the brain dump. So for each of these lower level bubbles or the sections and subsections, we already have information here. We just need to brain dump them into the document. So the goal here is to just get what we know onto the paper or onto the document. Now, typically, especially if you have a little bit of perfectionist attitude, you want to edit as you type, as you write, but you have to hold off that urge. In this messy draft stage, we just want to put all the thoughts for each of these sections and subsections on the paper. It's like, how we do Ganpati. I know nowadays it's all done in POP, but where I come from, the coastal town in Karnataka, we still do that with clay. So there is a base and a shaft in between, and then all the paper, hay, and a coconut husk is put there, and then a big lump of clay is dropped onto that, which is the messy draft of your book at the end of this step. And then slowly, the artisan gives the shape, adds a little bit of clay for trunk or wherever, it has to go. And that's how Ganpati's statue takes shape. And that's how we write the book also. This stage, step number 7, gives you the messy draft. And we have a saying, writing is for you, editing is for your reader. What we mean by that is writing is focused on us. How can I get all my thoughts, ideas, insights, right? Examples, all of that onto the document. And when you edit, you want to think now about the reader. How should I write in a way that the reader finds it easy to understand? So writing is for you, reading is for your editor. Editing is for your reader. And once we have that, in our Ganpati example, now they do the fine tuning, doing the eyes, giving the fingers, shape, the ornaments, all of that. So that is what this step is. We just rewrite the parts of the manuscript to write persuasively. Now, when we make a suggestion, when we have an advice in our book, the reader should be able to believe them. Only then they will be able to or willing to apply, right? So we talk about compelling arguments and evidence for our suggestions, our own stories, facts, figures, illustrations, real life incidents, real world examples, right? And one other thing that we do is at the end of every chapter, we write a little bit of teaser about what's going to come on the next chapter, so that there is a hook for them to go to the next chapter and continue reading. So when you change your refine your manuscript this way, you have the 1.0 version of your manuscript. So in a software product parlance, this is what you go to market with. Of course, in here we don't publish it yet, but this is almost ready in terms of all the content that is required for your book. And now you bake it with some copywriting and proofreading. Now, as you know, copywriting is a process where you go line by line and ensure that the content is understandable. So for a paragraph, if you're trying to explain a concept, you would have put it down already, but now you think from a reader's perspective and see, does this make sense? Has it come across as in a simple language as I have been expecting? You think from that perspective and do the copy editing. You may want to change few words to replace them with simple meaning words. Of course, there are tools available for copy editing, but you give clarity of concepts of your writing through this step. And you ensure that the tone, writing tone, is consistent from first chapter to the last chapter. And then proofreading is basically correcting any spelling mistakes or grammar errors, etc. So copy editing and proofreading are the two things that we do before the final version of the book is ready. And at this stage, your book is ready, essentially. It's ready for print. But we need some other data, or what we call as metadata, right? Your book's title, your book's subtitle, and a compelling description which goes on Amazon, attention-grabbing book cover, right? Keywords, when people search for certain things which apply to your book has to come in the results on Amazon. So we research the SEO keywords and the categories. Amazon publishes each book under a few categories. So we need to research and see which category suits the best for your book so that it can come up more in the search results so that you can get more sales. So this metadata some of this work can be done by experts or we ourselves can do, but these are the essential, a catchy title, a subtitle, which makes people pick up the book. All that's done in this stage. So as an example, I took the liberty of quickly designing a book cover for this example, Biren sir's example. And the book title, I came up with this Beyond Points as in reward points, right? Shaping the new era of customer loyalty through reward program. And then some resonating image, all of that. And this is typically how it looks in the Kindle and print book version. So next step is to organize. We are now ready for publication, basically. So we have to organize the manuscript in a way that Amazon KDP platform expects. KDP stands for Kindle Digital Publishing. So Kindle Direct Publishing, right? So there are a couple of ways you can publish. You can publish as a Kindle book, which means the book can be read on a smartphone, on a tablet, on a computer browser, or on all Kindle devices. That's the ebook format. And then when it comes to print format, there are two variants. One is a typical paperback book, and the other one is a hardbound with the book jacket that would have seen. So each one has a different way of presenting the manuscript. So we adjust our manuscript so that it's in line with KDP's, Amazon's expectation. So once we do that, we Kindle direct publish the book. So KDP the book. So we basically publish the book, upload the manuscript on Amazon, set the metadata and pricing options, and hit publish. So there is a step of manual verification from Amazon sites. And once that is done, voila, you become the published author. So putting this all 12 steps together, you can see the first letter, if you pick it up, it sort of becomes publish a book as an acronym for these 12 steps. So this, in essence, is the system. Of course, these steps plus tools and strategies that helps you write your authority book. So I'll open that up for questions now. Any questions, we can go through them. I see we are 46 minutes into the session, so we have enough time for questions. So I'm looking into the chat. Do you agree that book writing? Okay, I think this question was directed to Kamal Gulati, sir. Do you agree that the book writing is the fastest way to fame growth? Asking since you wrote a book. Okay, the next one is, I think this certainly is pathway and critical one, though it needs to be augmented with other aspects of convert to real growth. Okay, cool. I thought there were questions. So I'm open for any questions you may have.
Shiv, this is Biren Shah here. Thanks for
Pleasure.
looking up and taking an example.
Sure.
My point is that by any chance, are you sort of underestimating maybe something that you are really good at, and then trying to simplify and tell us that no, we'll also be successful writing a book? And Kamal is here right now. Kamal, you wrote a book. You please share and then let Shiv. Because maybe you were really good, maybe you wrote something really good and you become highly successful. To conclude, therefore, that if you write a book, you'll become, people will get drawn to you in hordes. I don't know whether that is the right conclusion. Then that is why I'm just, asking this question.
Sure.
Kamal, can you put in a minute first, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I'm here. And I certainly would say that it certainly is one of the most satisfying aspect to write a book. And I think the way all of you are attending this workshop, even I did a similar one almost a year back, and which made me, I think it was almost 14, 15 months back. And I will believe that since I have written that book, it has really opened up multiple aspects or multiple things which I have started thinking. And to my mind, the way I wrote in my comment section also, that writing a book is good, and I'm very happy doing that, and certainly has opened up few aspects which I never thought it would, including an example in which I can say that I was a part of a tender. And in that particular tender, I asked a question where I was put aside in that question. But later, when I met that officer who was responsible for the tender, and when I gave him that book, he said, the question that you asked, I might want to talk to the author and ask that. Then I said, I am the author. And so to my mind, yeah, it really has given me a good platform to go further. So, but to my mind, the way I was saying that it's important that you have got this tool, which is going to be important for you. But it is, you want to look at how do you augment this with multiple more aspects, which will, and some of those ones, I think Shiv was mentioning those also. So even I thought about where I would take it and specific customer segment, which I would want to focus on. So it is really critical that we think about how do we create more layers on the top of it. So book certainly is going to be one layer, and until you have the other layers which are stitched together to take you in the kind of direction which you wish to move on. And good aspect is majority of the people here are already a decent sized business person who have got a organization. So possibly this can, whatever they have, this will give them a very, very good tool or a weapon, I must say, to go to those specific segments where they wish to go to. So that is what my summary would be. And let me say that even I am just writing one more chapter on the top of the book, which I wrote almost a year back, or not a year, I think 8 or 9 months back. So I think because backup is evolving and resiliency is becoming a more key thing as of now. So I am just about to finish a critical chapter on the top. So this certainly, because when you have written this, number of people in the industry come back and talk to you. And from there, I got this, that it's important for me to really keep improving upon. So to my mind, book is one thing, which really is, but you want to keep thinking beyond that. So
Thanks, Kamal. I would now want to go back to Shiv for his opinions. Yes, thank you.
Sure.
And I would want to, Shiv, if you allow me, I certainly would want to ask you, because you have written a book and number of them, what, 15 odd book we have written?
Yeah, 20 plus. Yeah.
Okay. So I would want to understand from you in what ways I can use this book as a tool, such that you wrote some of those aspects, but how, for specifically for a person like us, because you rightly mentioned it's going to be critical that how do we use this tool well. So you might have, I don't know if you saw my book or if you saw some examples of those. So in your views, how could this be that I capitalize on that tool much more effectively? I
Sure.
have whatever I have.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So answering Biren's question, right? There are two aspects to writing a book. One is the process of writing itself. That is all the research that we talked about. And the process of writing a book actually changes you, because you would have spent decades in your field, but when you are writing a book, you are revisiting all those, all those years of work experience. You are synthesizing the information, the knowledge, and you are simplifying it. For this, you may have to do some research. It may bring out some aspects of your industry which you might not have explored earlier, but now it is essential because you want to give a well-rounded picture to your reader. So the process itself is important as well. And then how do you use a particular any system? I'm not saying what I have is the best, or I think there several people have different systems, but any system which takes you through step by step and makes it much easier to productize your knowledge. That's one important part. If you do that, then your overall writing effort and time frame can be reduced quite drastically. And there are tools also now available to assist you in this direction. So that's the first part, the writing part. The second thing is, like I said, 98% or more probably have written the book, but they don't know what to do with it, right? Once you have written the book, then it's also your responsibility to make sure that your target audience, the book gets in front of the target audience. So the marketing also is essential. And most of the people use LinkedIn as a great place for marketing, because LinkedIn is the social platform for all the businesses, right, across the world. And writing regularly on LinkedIn and conceptually sharing your book references there. Not only LinkedIn, of course, there are other forums, industry-specific forums, industry-specific publications. You could write articles there if it's a print publication or even digital publication. And in your profile, it's on the same topic. So in your profile, you can say, author of this book, link, etc. So all those elements of marketing have to be layered upon the book, as you said very rightly. Just book alone, writing, and it's not the end. It doesn't give you all the objective that you have set for your book. All the additional things also need to be done. Does that answer your question, Biren sir?
Yep, thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So Kamal sir, if you don't mind me asking again, can you again rephrase your question?
So what I was saying is, in what ways, once we have written a book and it is accepted well in the industry, what can I do such that it helps me to attract much more prospects? Or because that, in any case, I think is a intention for each one of us here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, see, if you see, book is the okay. We all understand the funnel, right? The marketing funnel and the product funnel. Book is the only device which is part of both these funnels, because book reaches the widest audience, and it's the cost of a book is not huge, few hundred rupees. It's a low threshold device for people to invest with you, and when they read the book, they get a sense of, wow, this is the solution that I've been looking after, right? If you can provide that kind of solution and insight through your book, the next logical reason or the next logical step is for them to come to you for implementation of that solution that you have provided in the book, right? So it gives you visibility, it gives you credibility, it gives you trust, all that is marketing part. And because they've invested with you, even few hundred rupees, that's a huge threshold mentally, right? For having spent money with you, with your business, the logical next step is for them to come for help with the implementation of that solution which you have given. So in book, we do a couple of things. We provide either a workbook download, or even before, because on Amazon, you have this feature of look inside on the book page. There is a link that comes above your picture of the book, look inside, and they can go through the table of content and get a sense of, okay, is this book for me or not? And so table of content is a marketing device that way. But you also can provide a link there for some kind of lead magnet. We understand what a lead magnet is, right? Which gives you a little bit of solution for their problem, which they can go and download. And when they do that, they give you your email ID and any other detail you may ask for. And the email marketing part can be taken from there, wherein you nurture them with more helpful value, and then create offers for them to convert and join your business. So a book can be a great lead capture device and also customer capturing device, because every book purchaser is your customer essentially. And then, as I said, if you have made the steps very clearly, if you have made, the PAS framework that we talked about, problem, agitation, solution, and they've believed that, yes, this is the solution for my need, for implementation, they have to come to you. So that's the typical, that's the link that we talked about in the next step chapter of the mind map that we looked at, which connects them to you. They'll come back to you, and then you will be able to sign them up for your product or service.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate.
That's basically how I have done, because I have two backend high ticket items, and more than 50% of my customers are my book buyers. They have bought my book, they've come to know about me, my solution, etc. And through the book, they have come to buying my coaching or product. Now we are coming out with a software, so hopefully a lot of people will sign up for that as well.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. Okay, so I see a couple of other questions. How many books have you written? I've written 21 so far in terms of multiple book series and standalone books. And the next one is in the works right now. What's the criteria for publishers to publish the book? Criteria for publishers to publish the book. I'm just trying to see if I've understood the question correctly. See, there are two types of publishers that we know, right? One is these big publishers, penguins, the Rupa, all of them. They typically do not publish, quote unquote, unknown authors. They'll probably go after very well-known authors. Then there are indie publishers who have these like packages and services. You can sign up with them. All that they want you to do is give them the manuscript. And of course, they will provide services of copy editing, proofreading, etc. that we talked about. Some of them can also create the book cover and so on. And then they can help with the publishing on Amazon, etc. But as far as the publishing criteria is concerned, I think if you have a well done idea and you provide the manuscript in whichever form that they can pick up and do it make it a finished product, that's all they expect. Kailash sir, does it answer? Okay. Okay.
No, but if you're publishing on Amazon, then what is that? Maybe that is a different.
Okay. See, Amazon, like I talked about, right? It's a wizard. The publishing process is very, very simple. It needs your manuscript in a certain format. For example, when you talk about Kindle, it does not have the concept of a page. It's like social media. You keep on scrolling, and the next set of lines scroll up because you can increase the font size. You can decrease it. You can change the font for all of these reasons. Kindle does not have the concept of a page, right? So there is a specific way in which it expects your manuscript to be written. No header, footer, no page numbers, these are such simple things. And also, because it's a file, it expects it to be with a certain type of file. Again, there are tools which you can feed the Word document and it will create in a file format which Kindle expects, Amazon expects. And then you must have a cover image and you should give them the category that you would like to list the book in. You should give 5 to 7 keywords. You should have a proper description and you should choose the price. So that's all it is there. No other requirements per se. And like I said, they will do a manual review and if they have any open questions, they will send you emails. Typically, the thing that they look for is this should not be publicly available. The content should not be publicly available so that they can say this is your original content.
Thanks.
Sure. Wouldn't this become a crowded space with so many attending courses for it and coming out with their respective book? I'm aware of 2 other ISODA members who have also written after the course. How does the... Okay. Okay. The target. Okay. It's just like for any service. There are so many service providers, right? You would go with the one that you trust, that resonates with you, and you sign up. Again, with the book, there are so many books on the same topic. But what makes it unique is your unique perspective. When you are writing a book on a topic through your years of experience, your insights, your way of doing things, right? See, for me, book publishing, the 12 steps that I've given, I've started very messy. My first book took, I think, 8 months or so. But then after that, as I wrote more and more books, I could optimize it. I could take away the pieces which are not needed. I could include the pieces which are needed. I could simplify a lot of stuff. And what works, what I have now works the best. And as technological and other evolutions happen, maybe I'll keep on changing the or refining the system. So it's just that, what resonates with you, you go with it, because your outcome, which is the book, has a very specific objective to it. In most of the cases, it is business related. So once you have it, how do you use the book? How do you market them? You are given the tools, then how do you use the tools basically decides what you get out of it. I'm not sure if I answered the question. You can rephrase if I have not answered the question properly.
Hi, Shiv, this is Nanesh.
Hello.
Hi. Simple, no wise question. We working into day-to-day business. Does the thought process for writing the book continues with the same flow, or it may lengthen the period of your workability? Does it require a specific peace of mind, or in a day-to-day activity also you can cope up with the same flow of workability? That is the question.
Okay. Great question. I'll tell you why. Because you would have heard this zone of genius, getting into a productive, motivational zone, all of that. People who write novels, they write everything out of their imagination. For them, all those things are necessary. They need to come out with creative ways of giving something which audience has not yet seen. But when it comes to our book, authority book, none of this is there. What we are essentially doing is what we know on a daily basis, what we've been doing day in and day out. We are just writing that in a very simple conversational style. So it doesn't need you to be in a different mindset or something. And the way we have done the mind map thing, right? You can, let's say today you have half an hour to spend. You can pick one section there and say, okay, on this section, I'm going to write whatever, I have to. And you don't necessarily have to write also. Nowadays, speech to text transcription tools are available. You just speak into your phone and then it gives you text and then you copy and paste it. So this way, as a routine, daily routine, you can just explain a little bit, and then the progress will happen, and then you will have that content coming into the book manuscript. So progress is more important than we're not doing some heroic, 6 days hackathon to write a book. No, day-to-day stuff that we do, we are taking a little bit of time every day to write a little bit. And the way we are doing it with the mind map allows it to, for you to do that, because there are specific endpoints, the final bubbles of the mind map. They talk about one specific concept. You say, okay, today I'm just going to talk about this or write about this for half an hour, maybe 2 pages, good enough. That's how you make progress.
Thank you. And in continuation, one more question, small one. The thought process and the word synchronization, is it easier or it takes time to get it synchronized the way you think?
The thing is, if you can talk about a small topic of your expertise, area of expertise, if you can talk about it, the same thing becomes the content that goes into the book. So I keep coming back to this, that the book is a conversational piece. It's a conversation that is happening between you and your reader in your absence. So you don't need to, it's just like that. If we two are sitting and if you are explaining to me what you do and how you help people, how your customers work, etc., the same thing goes into the book. In a very structured manner, of course, in a way that helps them. So nothing special is needed, to be honest, because we are just writing what we are already good at. We don't have to invent anything. We just have to put our knowledge or our expertise or our solution in regular conversational words, which is equal to having a conversation with somebody. So one of my clients, he takes his dog on a walk every evening, and before going, he picks up the one of the mind map, the bubble, the subtopic, and he records. He talks into his phone on his walk. When he comes back, he has the transcript. He just copies and pastes into the manuscript. That's how he's writing the book.
Thank you.
Sure.
So for technical persons like us into the industry for so many years, it is little easier to write or put. Okay.
Absolutely easier. Like I said, if you can explain, if you can talk about your business, it's as good as writing it, because it's the same thing which goes into the book.
Yeah, because we are into it day in, day out. But once we start, Kamal is a better person who can guide as well as you, because he has already done it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the process is pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? We can talk about that. I know we are already past the hour, so
Prashant,
but I have time. So
Prashant or Vinod, would you just want to just say a vote of thanks? Yeah, I guess since both of them are not there, Shiv, let me take this opportunity to thank you so much.
sure.
I think this is one of the more interactive sessions where constantly questions were coming up, and you were able to do enough justice to them as well, right? Since you said that you will be leaving this presentation with us, if you could potentially, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, sorry, I missed advancing to the next slide. So I would, I would love to, meet or connect with each of you on LinkedIn. So here's the short link, or you can take your phone and read the QR code, and you can get the content that we have discussed in a PDF format through this download link, which I've mentioned here, bit.ly/download-book-system. You'll be, it's a Google Doc, you'll be immediately able to download it.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Shiv. Thank you for your time, and I do believe that people have got a lot of value, from the, especially from the 12-pointer system that you presented. I think I personally, really like that system, and it also says publish a book, right? So that's the ultimate goal, anyways.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking time out, to talking to, the ISODA audience, and hope to be in touch with you, and hope all the people who attended today will be in touch with you, and many more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, and everyone who have been on this call. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. I enjoyed not just presenting, but answering the questions as well. Like I said, if you have any more, feel free to reach me on LinkedIn, and I'll try my best to address them or answer them. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. See you.